Welcome to the buymeacoffee.com/James Poe the coffee tips page that supports my James Poe creative productions and work. See also jamespoe.online. Hello, Perceptive Readers. This is James Lynch. This humanitarian topic actually would be in my buymeacoffee.com/James Poe page. It will be exclusively there. These are some notes that I want to keep in mind, you see, about humanitarian service. When you first ask a child as they're growing up, what do they want to be? What do they want to do? You will notice them say a variety of occupations that most likely will be along the lines of helping people. You've heard the responses from what others have said, where children say, I want to be a doctor. I want to be a nurse. I want to be a lawyer. I want to be a policeman. I want to be a policewoman. Uh, I want to do something as far as travel to other lands. They may name a name of a land, that they saw on TV, whether it was National Geographic or Mutual Omaha, Wild Kingdom, or what have you. And as they watch those shows, they actually may see persons even with international agencies or organizations that are helping. People think about Red Cross. And see, these different types of services help humanity. Very important services as well help humanity. And you have still a large number of people who actually go into these different fields, and depending on what they're doing, what already is their station in life as far as a monetary, again, their purse, which means how much money they already have or coming in or being sponsored. See, even persons are sponsored at times where someone would say, yeah, you go over there and I'll give you this amount of money or stipend every month or what have you. And then even if you run into something serious, you just contact me, and I'll wire the money to you this way or that way or what have you at times. Well, when persons go into those services, see, they still have to count the cost on whether they are able to still take care of themselves and stay strong, you see, which takes wealth. Remember, I said if you have good health, then you need wealth, so to speak, to make sure you can continue to not only maintain that health, you see, but hopefully during your rest periods, actually enhance your wealth, your health as well in these areas. Now, that's something you have to factor in as being a humanitarian. That's why uh, I even think about the advice that the Apostle Paul in the Holy Bible gave, where he was talking about singleness and then he was talking about married life. And he really did make clear, if you read that account, you really get the picture of what he was saying, that basically when you're single, you can do a lot more than when you're married. And so, with that, he went on to factor in what a married person focus would be. And see, and there's nothing wrong with what their focus would be. And see, and one of those focuses has to be that, guess what? You're making an income, you're taking care of your family. And see, this is what factor in on whether even someone, a married couple or what have you, go into the humanitarian aid around the world. They have to make sure that, hey, you know, one, the man just not going to leave his wife, you see what I'm saying, or what have you, for a long extended period of time, you see, and leave her in a condition where she doesn't have what she needs, you see, all to what? Go show their goodness to somebody else's, you see, community and families and things of that nature. No, the man or the woman in this case also would have to make sure they're taking care of their family, make some type of provision. And I'm not talking leaving it up to, just wondering why. No, you have to make sure you know what you have in place that's coming in and will be coming in. And the reason why I'm emphasizing this, because I told you sometimes, the first thing people will say is pray about it. And yes, you do pray about these situations. And then you make sure you do everything you really are supposed to do, you see, and you pray for God to bless what you're doing. Now, if he comes with some other type of means or what have you to support you, remember I told you persons to just sponsor you without coercion and things of that nature, without you, trying to beg them to sponsor you or what have you, then that's also part of what help people to do humanitarian services. See, when a person is single, see, sometimes I told you they can just pack up their duffel bag and they're gone. They're gone, because all it is just them. And see, and that's what I really want to make all of you listening aware right now, that sometimes, see, this is very important. Remember, I told you there are different trials people go through in life. And it's one thing to go through a trial because somebody don't know any better. But then it's another thing where I told you persons who actually have the authority and instructions and the means to just gauge a community or person or what have you. See, there's still certain ethical lines that we're not supposed to cross. And that's when I reference at times, like even medical treatments. Remember the Tuskegee medical experiments. You see, remember I told you there was a panel that was very much aware of what was going on, or the mistreatment and misdiagnosis of persons, just to see what would happen to these persons as they go through this pain and suffering that they did. Now, since we're still talking about humanitarian services, though, this is my emphasis to you. You have to count the cost. It's wonderful that you have the desire to help people, even help around the world. And so the people also that, you would be helping, realizing, like you still have these directors and everything of these different organizations and groups that you would work with at times. For the most part, I would be taking for granted that they're also reasonable in knowing just what it takes, even the cost, to make it in this area or that area. And also, if there's already some means provided for them, see, in this way or that way, they certainly wouldn't keep that as a secret to themselves, you see. So when it comes to humanitarian service, the principle still really does fall down on, you still have to take care of yourself first before you can help anybody else. And to do it in a vice versa way, or even if some agency or some director try to really, force you to go into something, and here it is, will not give you, what you need for those means of living. And this is what I mean as well, too. See, there's some people, remember I told you, that will sponsor you. And then there's some people that you just don't have a sponsor, and you don't want to throw the burden on another family member or what have you, just because you want to do this. And then it's all on this other family member that shouldn't have that load placed upon them or even burden placed upon them when there's something that you really decided for yourself. So, example, you can go to one of these meetings, um, and you'll get the feeling good. They have them in different hotels and stuff like that at times. Yeah, pamphlets and everything where you can pick up in a variety of places. And, you might get the feeling good. Like I said, I just want to go and do this. But yet, there is still a responsibility that will be placed upon you that is like, well, you still got to have your own funds to do this or that. And hey, and there's nothing wrong with that. And so that's what I'm going to tell you about that. And so remember, never be guilt tripped into doing anything of this nature that you don't want to do. You see, it should come from the heart, whatever you're going to do, and especially as I mentioned before, if someone tries to get you to do something to say this is for humanity, and yet they're not being reasonable with you to, like I said, in this case, have a wage, a stipend, or something for you so that you won't be or more focused on still having to take care of yourself just now in a harder environment than if, like I said, you had what you needed in the wealth and health manner, where then guess what? You can focus on even helping more people because you're covered yourself. That's the way it has to work for the most part. Take care.